us with
Donna and Crystal. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Happy Easter weekend. This is my favorite weekend. Yeah. So today we have a very, very, very special guest. Dennis.
Welcome, Dennis.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh,
check. I'm good.
Yes, you sound good. Dennis, please explain to the world what's going on in this gaming world because, years ago, it used to be that, if you were in the gaming thing, you weren't going to really amount to anything. So, but I see it all over the place and I see the blow up in, especially in, by my town where a lot of restaurants are turning into sports, more events and everything. So you hold the key.
Yes. I will unlock it for everybody to understand.
Perfect.
So, gaming, as you know, it's nothing new, but it became really, really popular when, let's just say, we were on lockdown for a lot of different things. And what happens is when you can't go anywhere, everybody likes to be entertained or have some type of entertainment. That's why we would go out. We would go to baseball games, basketball games, anything we could do outside. But when that was taken away, esports or video games started to really see a really big boom as far as interest. And it's not because people never played video games, because clearly we had, but now so many more people were into it. It was like a refresher. And we're in a technology-based world, so technology is there. A lot of the youth communicate online in the forms where we didn't before, so it just kind of perfect storm of being able to capitalize on video games, to have entertainment, which brought the old and the young together. And that's why you're seeing that this industry now has become a billion-dollar industry. And with the internet, because back in the day when a lot of people played video games, you weren't really playing video games on the internet to the span of which you are now.
Right.
So with the global community being a part of that, it has really grown up or blown up into this huge industry, and that's why you're seeing it at bars, you're seeing it at libraries, you're seeing it in schools, and you're seeing a lot of people become very wealthy off of the esports and gaming world.
Now, is there a specific place where someone came up with the idea like, okay, look, I want to take this and make it into a whole big thing? Because I do see a lot of in the city, a lot of gamers out there are doing it, in different arenas and whatnot. But is there a one specific spot that people go to? Or remember we were talking about the other day, there's that, Decoyed? What was it? Decoyed. What was it?
Discord.
Discord. I told you were gonna be the. Listen, I told you were gonna be the terminology.
So
I was close.
You were. I give you credit. E for credit. Okay. So we got the esports. No. So in terms of a focal point, not necessarily. I think it stems from individuals' experiences and how they dealt with gaming. They started to create that into what they would like to enjoy themselves. And ironically, a lot of people have that same perspective. So you may see people play card games, at a venue other than home. You will see people play video games other than at home at maybe a video game center, which back in the day used to be called the arcade. So what you're seeing now is just that those who have grown up in the video gaming world and not from a perspective where they were making money, more of a pastime, have now transitioned that into ways where it's a unique way to hang with their old friends, and then for those who've never experienced the arcade or something like that, for them to kind of come out and experience it. So that's kind of partly what you're seeing.
Okay.
And in terms of where people meet, Discord is a very popular platform. If you think of like a WhatsApp or a group text or anything like that, Discord is the major one that all gamers in the gaming world communicate to set up tournaments, to play video games with each other on a global basis.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Now you did say this was a multi-billion-dollar industry now. What makes it
correct.
What makes it a billion-dollar industry?
So to give you a quick stats, Disney just invested $1 billion into a gaming company, right?
Disney.
So
We're gonna
Disney,
go on to that one soon.
Disney. So that alone, if you say what makes it a $1 billion industry, that's just one company that
Okay.
invested over $1 billion
So Disney is going to make
is
something like a PlayStation or an Xbox type of thing, or different?
so it's going to be a little different. So in the gaming world, they have licensing agreements, a different type of licensing, which you have the right to utilize a character or bring a character into it.
Okay.
So what they did was by acquiring this company, they're going to blend, let's just say, your favorite Disney character into a digital video gaming arena, what makes it more relatable, to you. So it was kind of an investment for them to get more into the gaming world.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to answer your question, as far as the industry overall, that was just one example. But if
Right.
you look at it as okay, this company that they have acquired, it had to have a founder, right? And that founder had to develop a video game or some type of esports, and from there it was growing, right? So they were selling their games, they're selling their games, and maybe they were making millions of dollars. But they're
Okay.
still part of the esports ecosystem, which is the industry that is growing. So it's gotten to the point to where you have like a Disney who wants to be a part of it. So they're just one piece of the pie. So you have other companies that are making millions and millions of dollars, and together, the industry as a whole is worth billions of dollars. But I just wanted to hit you with the Disney one straight off the bat. Like if we had to say it's $1 billion industry, that one transaction alone was worth $1 billion.
Wow.
Right,
Okay.
okay, gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the most popular I don't know if you would say like game that's out there that everyone's like I gotta be a part of this group because I know there's groups and there's like
Yep.
chat rooms and there's
Yep.
so much out there that's it's actually mind blowing. So I love that you're in this field because it's like I keep learning from you and I got a little background tea for my boy Dennis. Oh, don't get nervous.
Never nervous, never nervous.
I
I play
know.
video games. We're ready for everything.
Oh boy.
I have many questions for you though.
Yes.
So wait, but I kind of like so what was my question?
About a platform.
Yeah, like these platforms and everything. So
So you wanted to know what if there was like the most popular game or what do
yes.
people generally play? So you don't have because there's so many games, but I can tell you
Mm-hmm.
the popular manufacturers of some of those games and some of the systems that are used, and then we'll get into games because
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to understand why a game may be popular, it's better to understand who manufactures it, and then from there you'll get a better understanding. So Xbox, which is made by Microsoft, everybody knows Microsoft,
Yep.
extremely popular company. So therefore, a lot of the games that they may put out under their Xbox systems is considered popular. Then you have Sony, which is PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation is another major console that a lot of people will play video games on. So hence they'll have a lot of games that are popular. And then
Mm-hmm.
you'll have Nintendo, and they produce the Switch. So
Ah.
those are right now. You have the people who play video games on PCs, like Alienware, and they do their thing, but it's a different type of video game. Most people are used to playing on consoles, but now they have PC gaming. From what we've seen, is Mario, any type of Mario game, Smash Bros tends to be very popular with the older demographic and the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Just because think about it, Nintendo, Super Mario has been around for a long time, so the familiarity with the characters and it's a well-developed game makes it extremely popular. Another game that is not by Xbox or Switch or PlayStation. It's by a company called Epic, who produced a game called Fortnite, and it's a open world multiverse game where you can bring in or create unique characters in it. Makes it really more personal for the gamers. So
Mm-hmm.
that in itself is a very popular game because of the sheer customization that you could do, and it's called what's a first-person shooter game, what we
Oh.
call FPS
Ah.
in the gaming world.
Lindsay's
Yeah, so
gonna
we got
love this.
acronyms. Yeah, so we got acronyms. So that's a popular game. Again, it's global. The vast world of the internet. And then you always have your traditional sports games. So you think about Madden, which is the equivalent of NFL football. You'll have NBA 2K, which is the equivalent of the National NBA, the basketball league. So those are very popular games just because of their overall popularity. A lot of people do gauge and entertain with them. But a game, just to put you guys on, and some may know and some may not, League of Legends is a very, very popular game, but it's on the PC. But a lot of people still game on PCs. So there is no one game that is extremely popular, but there are brands that are more spoken about or
Mm-hmm.
more known than most, because you'll have gamers who play like Candy Crush, right? It wouldn't think it's a popular
That's
game.
me.
There you go, right?
I love my Candy Crush.
So you're a low key gamer, right? So you're a low
Yes.
key gamer too. So there's a lot of games. It really goes down to the individuals and what they like to play and their friends and communities that they play with.
Okay. How do you feel about because I got excited a couple of years back when Nintendo like came back, and now everybody's kind of getting into this rhythm of Atari and all of these and I'm like, Atari? Now like, you guys don't even know.
Yeah.
The old games and revamping them. Like I love like the original Pac-Man. Like that's my game. So Mrs. Pac-Man. Mr. Pac-Man
Yes.
sucked. So he was
Oh,
just
why did I
like
be like
boring.
that?
He all he did was yap 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 yap. Now Mrs. Pac-Man had the bow. There were colors.
Okay.
It gave it a little bit more flavor.
Yeah, but I
I
think
like it.
today's day, there's so much more graphics and stuff, so that's why the other games are more popular. And
Yes.
Yes.
you can pick a character. Like I know my kids are big into the Fortnite, and they get excited because they can buy a new skin and be a different character, and yeah, and they're in their 20s. So, but yes, they're big
Yeah.
gamers.
Yeah. Listen, we're all gamers at heart. Clearly, Crystal's a gamer. She didn't know it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
it's all in good fun.
Yes.
How do you feel about what they're doing now, especially with Disney? Speaking about Disney, how they're making movies. Now they're coming out with a Sims movie after like they did that whole Barbie thing. And I see that they're doing that. I kind of feel like even when they did it with Mortal Kombat, and I love Mortal Kombat, they kind of ruined the movie, the game for us because they turned it into a movie and they still haven't perfected this yet. But how do you feel about that?
Um, from a industry and being in the industry perspective, I
Hmm.
love it. From a creative perspective, as they get better at it, I think it'll become amazing because it will expand on the storyline of the video games that we play, right? So we play with a character, but that character has no real personality, right? It's not like we can see, okay, that was Johnny Depp playing as, another character. So I
Hmm.
think as they get I think as they continue to cross blend and create video game type movie themes, I think those of us who do love the game, it'll open up more interest for that game, right? So once we beat a game, we already know how it ends.
Okay.
But when you do it in a movie perspective, they may kind of follow that same storyline, but if they don't and they go somewhere different with it, they may
Hmm.
put out a new game that, wow, I beat that game before, but now the movie was a little bit different, and now they put out a new game, which means you might go back to play that game again. So as an industry, I like it. As a creative, I think it is going to be beneficial because how many times can we watch the same type of storylines, right? But in the
Right.
video games, they have unique storylines. They have unique story plots. In movies, you kind of get used to what is going to happen. You can kind of predict the ending. But if you've never played a certain game and you watch it in the movie, you have no
Hmm.
clue how it's going to end,
Right.
right? So you're more engaged in it. So I personally think it's a good idea.
Okay.
How they do it or how they continue to do it, clearly it's gonna be a learning curve. But I think overall, it's a good move.
Perfect. Now, you are a part of the Long Island Game League. You want to explain to people what specifically it is, what you do, what everybody does? Is there one
No.
person?
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So absolutely not. I don't want to tell anybody about that stuff, man.
No? Okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, I didn't know. I was like, on the cover?
It's a secret.
It's a secret. This is the Illuminati.
Listen, I can't tell them
No,
about the
you know
movie.
what? Paul, I already told you there's no more. No, Diddy.
You're silly. No, I will definitely. So Long Island Gaming League started in 2019. I believe I was on a podcast before, and I said that was a long time, and I got a lot of flack for it. However, I'm still going to say it's a long time because of where the industry has gone and how long we've been doing what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
What we've been doing for the last 5 years is just now people are trying to figure it out, right?
Okay.
Some people are doing, some people are not. So it's not as big. So I consider it for doing it for 5 years and have figured it out, for people to still be trying to figure it out is a long time. But our primary focus when we got started is in esports and education. The reason for that is a lot of kids were playing video games, and I was just seeing like this industry is growing and they're the drivers behind it. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities that they may have that, let's just say, I did not have
Mm-hmm.
when gaming was there. Clearly, I wasn't able to be a game developer, right? Kind of missed that boat. I wasn't able to stream, missed that boat, right?
Right.
So, so there was just those two things alone. I was just like, wow, there's so much opportunity. But as the industry continues to grow, just like any industry, just like any boom, job creations are made.
Okay.
And instead of the kids, whether they're young or old, instead of them just being consumers in video games, we thought that if we educated them on the game industry, then they can either, if they are out of college, they might be
Mm-hmm.
able to find a job within the esports industry because of their knowledge of gameplay or that relativity. Or if they're still in school and they're playing video games, instead of just playing for hours and not understanding
Mm-hmm.
how the system works or how it works, there's opportunity. So we created a curriculum called Teaching the Game. It's an esports curriculum. It's currently being taught in schools. It's a 5-day a week, and then we also do a after school program at local schools. We're always looking to get into more schools to help the students to better understand that between high school to college to graduation, there's a path that can be taken, whether it's you are playing video games and learning about games in high school to where
Mm-hmm.
you get a scholarship from a college, which is an esports scholarship. So like you would get any other sports scholarship that people don't know about, to now go to college in an area or a degree that you want to work in, let's just say communication, to
Mm-hmm.
then go from that communications job to working inside of a gaming organization in their communications department. So there's a clear pathway from how video games can take you to the next level in life to where it's not often talked about. So the Long Island Gaming League has really been focused on that for the past 5 years. Outside of that, we do work with the community at overall. So you were mentioning about the different venues having video games.
Mm-hmm.
We were a big part of wanting to do that because it's about community. And if you're not in school, how come you have to feel left out of the community? So we would go into the community and bring games for the community to come out, have a good time, socialize, and network.
Perfect. And
Awesome.
now, where can anybody go, like someone like me, like a website or to get more information about the Long Island Game League?
So there's two ways. One way, just go on Google and type in Esports Long Island, and we'll pop up. And if you don't do it that way, you could go to at LI Gaming League on any social media platform. And those are generally the best way to contact or get in connect with us and see what we have going on. Uh, we we do advertise, but we don't really do that much advertisement. We really believe in word of mouth. We feel that once you experience our services, you'll tell somebody else. So if you come to an event that we were at, you thought it was a cool event,
I
you'll
love
tell
that.
somebody else. If if you're in the school, you hear, how good the kids are doing, or you see some of the grades they got, or if they went off to college or graduated and stuff like that. We're a real believer of we don't want to necessarily just talk about it. We want to show you what we're doing, and we think that's more valuable at the end of the day because the misconception about esports is when you hear about an esports company, you instantly think video games. So we don't really market ourselves or put a marketing out there because people will perceive us as just another video game company. So again, if you do happen to type in esports Long Island, we pop up. But if you want to really connect with us, we highly recommend you just follow one of our social media and you'll get the real insight of what we do and everything that we do.
I
And what?
mean, is there an age restriction, like for
So
somebody to go to your classes?
yeah,
Good
so there is
question.
an age restriction when it comes to our school activities. So if you're in middle school, we tend to cater to that age demographic. If you're in the high school, we'll tend to cater
Right.
to that
Okay.
age demographic. And if you're out of school and you come to one of, like, say, our library events, it's open to all ages. And if you come to an event where we happen to be at a bar or a brewery, that is a 21 and older event.
Right. Okay.
So we do separate those aspects because, for a variety of reasons. But yes, it is separated. We do have age restrictions on certain things that we do, but overall, it's to keep the environment safe for all parties.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
Cool. Or they can follow your Instagram or TikTok.
Yes.
He's all
Yep.
over the place. So.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's nothing ever bad on any of our social media that everybody can follow the social media. Those are not age restricted, so
Right. Okay.
we don't put anything crazy on there.
No. Cool.
And are you a big gamer yourself? Like, what would be your favorite platform to play on or game?
Oh, good question. Good question.
Oh, shoot, good.
So yeah, no. So no, I am not a big gamer. I am probably out of my team the worst out of all of them.
Wow. Okay.
They always clown me. I'm still learning some of the terminology. I'm informed, but there are gamers who are way more technologically more advanced than I am, and I'm grateful to be around this because I have such a great team. But to answer your question, the game I do play is I play Call of Duty.
Okay.
And
I knew
I
it.
also play yes, and I also play a game called Apex Legends.
Oh, another
So,
one. Another
Wow.
popular one, I know.
And how'd you get into this field? Like, what made you decide one day that you wanted to do this?
Yeah. So I got into the field. I was working with a good friend of mine, Mitchell Backus, and we were teaching a class. We started in the schools at NYIT. It was called How to Create a Podcast.
Oh.
And through How to Create a Podcast, essentially was we were showing the kids how to be able to vocalize and get their voice out, right? Talk about topics that are important to them, what they care about, if they were always feeling they weren't heard. So that's kind of how Create a Podcast was brought to light. In that process, what the kids were talking about, we were kind of listening because they got to talk about whatever they wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Of
So
course.
they started talking about it, and my friend Mitch, a while back would say, hey, you should start a sports league. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not that much into sports. I barely follow it. It's like a pastime. I'm not doing it. Hindsight, after we started to listen to the kids, and I started looking into esports, and I realized I was like, wow, this is an opportunity that if they're talking about it, is there anything that we can do to kind of help them really get an understanding about? Because they're just talking about prize pool and video games and characters, right? They're
Right.
not talking about the bigger picture.
Mhm.
So from that, I said, Mitch, I got an idea. He's like, what? I said, I'm going to create a gaming league. And he just gave me like this crazy look. He's like, bro, you don't even really do sports like that. You do March Madness, you do friends and family picks. You don't even know who's playing. I said, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I know. But it's different. It's not the type of league, that people traditionally think of when they think of league. And he was just like, all right, man, let me see what you do. So then we sat down, and I told him, like, this is the vision. We're going to call it the Long Island Gaming League, but ideally we want to focus on educating the community. And then from there, if we ever become a actual league, it'll be great. But if we're able to create a community around the league, that'd be more important. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Wow. Pretty awesome.
Now, Dennis, I'm going to switch
Yes.
gears a little bit. He's
right, let's go.
very, very entrepreneur. Now, there are stories, okay? So now, Dennis, I think, 20 years we've known each other?
Long time.
Long time. So I've seen it all, and he's seen me
Yes.
all. I am curious because he actually, when we were, in the midst of trying to figure out life, he started out with designing ties.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So, and of course, I don't know whatever happened to that. I still think you should have done that because then I saw all of these real estate shows and everybody had all these things. I was like, Dennis!
Yeah.
And then it went into the magazine.
Yep. 100%.
What happened to the magazine? That was a good idea.
I'll answer all of it. You can keep throwing them out there. I'll tell you from soup to nuts. What happened to them all?
I was just gonna put those two.
All right, so fair enough. So the tie business, which was the D. Buchanan collection, it was kind of stemmed from I was just getting into the corporate world, and I felt uncomfortable with just wearing a suit and tie. So I said, well, if I gotta wear it, I might as well make my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it just came from that, and then I started to research it. And I found stuff overseas, and I was like, oh wow, I'm buying $50 for a tie, and I could just buy this overseas for like 3 cents. Makes sense. So I got into that. I got it all designed, and I started getting all these ties. And then the next step was like, all right, well, what do I do with them? I said, okay, I'm gonna sell them.
Mm-hmm.
First step was selling them to friends and families, and that never really works. Just to be honest with everybody,
No.
sell it to your
Right.
friends and family. Ironically, your customers are not going to know you. So just let that sink in, right? Your customers are not going to know you. Sell it to your friends and family hardly, rarely ever works unless you got thousands of friends and families. But we usually have 5, 6, or 7. So once they make that first purchase, that's all you got. So from that perspective, I was like, okay, I got all these ties. What do I do with them? So I did it an unconventional way, and I didn't really know. I started going to every single store vendor that I could see.
I
And say,
remember.
hey, I got these ties. Do you want to buy them? I was pushing weight. I was pushing ties. That's what it was. Okay, these ties was heavy, so I had these big boxes. So I'm trying to get them in there, and surprisingly, it worked. It really worked. I was like, wow, this is great. I sold out all my inventory. I had my ties in the stores. I had my signature and everything. And this is where the life learned lesson came from. What I didn't know about all this is that once you sell it, they want to buy it again, but you have to plan out your seasons. You got to be at least 3 to 4 months in advance.
Oh.
I didn't know that. So when I sold out and they wanted more like next week, I didn't have another order. So a lot of the businesses just kind of went away because I didn't realize that in the fashion world, it comes out every season.
Yes.
And when I sold all of that, I should have had my next season ready made.
Mm-hmm.
So when it got shipped to me, I can resell it to the customer. So that lesson was learned. And
Right.
then I went to the necktie exchange to get rid of all my ties, where, ties are just kind of like watches. They don't really get used as much. They're showpieces. Ties are even better. They never touch the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time you put them on, you hang them up, and you only wear them for special occasions. So it's a very good resell, like a book. So I got rid of all my old ties on the necktie exchange that I had created, and that is how I exited out of the fashion business. And then the magazine business, which was called Self-Made Famous Magazine.
Still love it.
That was just another unique way. I started dealing with Photoshop and having fun doing stuff, and I like to be creative. And from that, thinking about podcasting and interviewing people, I was like, well, what if I talk to individuals who've made it in the industry, who did it themselves? Can I learn anything? And I had worked with Javon Trice, was a gentleman that I had worked with for the Self-Made Famous. We went around and put up, stickers and all over the place about our magazine. And that was just a fun passion project. Made some money on it, but I really did it to just learn. I learned how to create a magazine. And once you have any form of media, just like you lovely ladies have, once you understand the power of media,
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good tool. So the magazine was really just a tool to further, my understanding of business and get me to the next level.
And the great thing about this, and the reason why I brought that up, was because, and listen, Dennis knows I tried to be a singer one time. That was not working for me. I was not Whitney Houston. Okay. I tried to also be a fashion designer. That did not work for me either. So Dennis has seen my highs and lows, but the great thing I think that I can say in my opinion is that we both took something out of what we try to accomplish to make us into the person that we are now with the information, I have to ask your opinion on this.
Go ahead.
Okay. So because now we are in, and you brought up, podcasts and the things that are going on, especially with Disney. I don't know if you did get to see Quiet on the Set.
No.
Okay. Well, it's going to ruin your childhood when you watch it. But
Okay.
How do you feel about, especially what's happening today, with all of these big corporations, especially retail and all of that, and, movie business? Now you're hearing a lot of pedophilia, pedophile. How do you say that word?
I think you said it right.
You said it right.
Oh, okay. Pedophilia. Yes, Diddy You know, it's a little bit, it's getting out of control. Like we're hearing about, you know, all of this stuff that's
Right.
going on out there.
Right. So I guess the way I feel about it is, um, if all of the well, because I'm not too familiar with it, if all the allegations are true,
Mm-hmm.
it's really horrible that all this is going on. I also feel that as far as just being the media or individuals being subjected to
Mm-hmm.
that is also not good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my perspective on things are when something happens and it is confirmed, then the world should know.
Right.
But the public opinion is very devastating for everybody. So, from the public opinion of you hearing about this story,
Mm-hmm.
how does that affect you? Does it scare you? Does it concern you? Does it, so there's a lot of different things. So you have that aspect, and then you have the other individuals who either did it or didn't do it. Right now,
Right.
you have their public opinion about them, and then what happens is the way we now look at each other is with full of skepticism and without proof of what it is. So I haven't really followed many of the things. I've heard about it, which again I think is terrible. But my personal opinion about those things is, if in fact it is to be proven,
Mm-hmm.
then I could vocalize my opinion a little bit more.
Right.
But if it is still a hypothetical or a what if, or this person did that or this person did that, I think that does a lot more damage um, in the end
Mm-hmm.
versus if we know about it and say this person was accused of this and they did not do it, and then
Right.
we can say okay, or this person did do this and they did do it, but in the interim, it creates all this turmoil for individuals on both parties, and that is something I don't necessarily agree with.
I actually like. I was hoping you would say that because now I'm going to get you back into this question.
Go ahead.
Um, so
Bring it.
they've been saying though, and you're absolutely right because I really don't like to speak on something until we actually have all the facts. I actually
Yeah.
have the court records now, the
Ooh, bring it.
yeah, of what is
Bring
going
it.
on. But I'm, you know how they say karma comes back at you.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
want to read this to you.
Go ahead.
The
Read it. Bring
day
it on.
that Diddy got raided,
Okay.
Biggie Smalls' album, it hit the 27th anniversary, Life After Death.
Okay.
And then it was also the Diplomat Immunity album that was the 21st anniversary. They're saying that this is karma, and they're saying that, you know, this is a way to show the world that, you know, such and such X, Y, and Z happens, and this is
Hmm.
Diddy's karma coming back to him.
Okay.
Um, Now, Daphne Joy is involved in the lawsuit, who is 50
Okay.
Cent's baby mama.
Okay.
You know, it's a little disturbing. Again, we don't know how she played a role or what until we actually know how this ends. But, you know, as a female, I'm a little bit disappointed that, you know, she's in, they're saying allegedly, we're going to say that to keep it safe. I don't want to get sued on a non-podcast show. That, you know, she was a part of the sex trafficking,
Uh huh.
and, you know, she helped Diddy bring all these women, and, you know, but she's claiming that she didn't. It's really sad that sometimes, you know, like Jeffrey Epstein, they're saying he's the black version of Jeffrey Epstein. So,
Okay.
and it's crazy because when you start thinking about stuff, like even with SpongeBob SquarePants, and I know that's going to be funny, but it's a whole like Disney thing. When
Uh huh.
SpongeBob was getting his driver's license, if you look at the address, which is 124 Conch Street in Bikini Bottom, if you Google that on the map, that's Jeffrey Epstein's island.
What?
Yeah, boy! Oh
Wow.
my God!
Wow.
Yes,
I did not know that.
I come with facts.
I see that.
Yes.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and if you look at now, if you look at the logo of the Nickelodeon, you know how it has that
Okay.
little orange squiggle? It's the same
Yes.
shape as Epstein's Island.
Wow.
So now it's starting to like a lot of things, and I know this is probably like just, oh, what a coincidence, but how much of a coincidence that you have all these Disney movies that have these subliminal messages in them, like in The Lion King, it spells out sex. The Little Mermaid, I'm not going to go in there, guys. You can see it for yourself when she comes out of the water. That's what I'm going to say.
Right.
It's, but it's disturbing. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Orlando Brown is. Orlando Brown came out and he actually confirmed that he made love to Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes, Cat Williams, Usher, Terrence Howard, Drake, and Stevie J, allegedly.
Damn.
He made love to them?
Yeah, he doesn't want to say he has sex with them. He says we made love.
Wow. So what was your?
No.
Because that was a lot to take in. So you wanted to ask what did you want
What
to ask?
Oh my God.
what is your opinion with everything that like this is, this that's going on? It's just crazy.
Oh, it's definitely crazy. I would say, I mean, whether you want to hear it or not, I would say somewhat of my opinion is still very similar. So with the Epstein thingy, like I never knew that. So to me, that was just like,
Everybody's about to
wow,
Google right
like
now.
so like wow, that's kind of that's crazy. They say where there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, it's just like I'm just at awe, So I'm just really trying to digest that with
Right.
with the guy who's talking about him sleeping with Diddy and all those other guys, where he said, you know, he's made love to them.
Orlando
So
Brown.
Orlando Brown. So he said he's made love to them,
Orlando
right?
Bloom.
No, sorry,
Oh, my bad.
Orlando.
Oh, I don't know. So he's saying he's saying he made love to them, right?
Yes.
So if somebody, because I understand, fully, but this is why I say, for me personally, words mean something.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody said, "Oh, okay, I made love to this person," right?
Mm-hmm.
Based off of public perception, I can think that means something else
Right.
and say, "Oh, that's horrible."
Right.
But if I listen to what they actually said and say, "I made love to that person," whether it's male or female,
Mm-hmm.
what am I really going to say about that? So again, it's hard for me to take what he said and be like, okay, they did horrible things to him because out of his mouth he said he's made love to them.
Right.
However, the narrative that is being around all of it, and again, I don't condone anything that is not wanted or not merited or anything like that. But the
Mm-hmm.
way the media and the way the words and everything is being manipulated, that's what I really don't agree with.
Right.
So, so that's kind of my perspective on that. If he said he's made love to them, who am I to judge or say anything about anybody? And
Right.
that's what this man is saying.
Right.
If he said they did blank to me, then I would have a different opinion on it. Now with the lady 50 cents woman,
Daphne Joy.
Daphne Joy, so for her to be called a sex trafficker or
Well, it's in the court records right
oh,
now.
it's in the court.
It's in the court records that she was wiring money. Yeah, then she was a part of the sex trafficking. It's actually in the
Right.
legal documents.
Wow. So again, if that comes out to be proven true, that's horrible. Like that's not cool. I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that hasn't been proven yet.
Right.
So for me to really say, like, from her perspective, she said, no, I didn't do it. Like, who's gonna do it and say I did it?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So again, I understand why the world at large is being informed,
Mm-hmm.
but it is my firm belief that we should not judge or be or have that subjected to us because it's an emotional thing, right?
Right.
When you hear something happens to somebody, what do you think about? You think about yourself, you think about your friends, you think about your family.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about now this is millions of people are hearing about this. So now you're blanketing the entire, population with this negativity of like there's these horrible things. Now let's not get it twisted. Horrible things happen all over the world.
Right.
Horrible things happen within our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And how we handle them is how we get through it. But if we're constantly being bombarded with what ifs and hypotheticals, and not the hypotheticals of this might be a good thing, everything hypothetically we're getting hit with is negative.
Right.
So I tend to, with all this stuff going on, I try to just like, when I see what is happening and is proven, then I could, for my own well-being, place my judgments accordingly in how I want to live my life and how I want to move, and then not have a skewed look on everybody in the world and be like, oh, I bet you this person is doing that because they said this or they believe in that. When it's kind of like that's not who they are, but that's what we're being led to believe. I don't think innocent until proven guilty. Even though that's not how the world works.
Right.
That's how I personally like to live my life, innocent until proven guilty, and only then will I be able to fully pass judgment on anybody.
Right. Now, like with 50 Cent, because 50 Cent is getting crazy over this internet and everything, how he was talking about how Puffy one day tried to buy him clothes, and he was like, I got you. You remember that episode?
Yeah.
But my first thought was like, damn, Diddy, you were trying to take him to the candy shop.
Yeah.
So, you know, when someone starts speaking up, in your opinion, and I've had this personally, so this is why I'm bringing it up. If they starting to be vocal about it, but people are like, nah, that he's crazy, she's crazy, they don't know what he's talking about. Is there a little bit of light to that, or is that, like someone just trying to feed into the media, you think, in your opinion?
Well, you don't know what the agenda is. I mean, there's a big agenda here. That's what.
Right, but it's not only with 50 Cent. Cat Williams has also gone in there, and even Monique. I'm gonna use Monique. We all thought, and this is where a lot of people, where you were saying, a lot of people have to be really careful on expressing and giving opinions on this stuff because, you can damage your career, but why would you want to be in fear of that? We all sat back and we're looking at social media, which is the worst thing, and we're now forming this opinion, but now a lot of this stuff is coming out to light. And now we're all backtracking like, damn, Monique was right. Wait, there might be a little bit of truth in there, a little bit.
Right.
So
I guess my opinion on that is, okay, the shopping thing, like with 50 Cent, right? He was like, hey, let me take you shopping, right? Now, 50 Cent felt the ways. It was just like, yo, this guy, to me, that's a little funny style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Hey, to me, I might feel the same way if a guy asks me to take me shopping.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I would leave it at for me. Now, again, now you have other people who are talking about it.
Right.
But if you think about, for me personally, what everybody is talking about, nobody is saying it.
Right.
It is all conjecture, so to speak, right? Monique had said, well, this person, I don't know what that word is. Let's
allegedly?
Say this lady.
Uh-huh.
Let's say, I won't even say allegedly, a lady says, this person looked at me funny, right? And then you have allegedly another person said, this person bumped into me a certain way. But where is it that the people saying, they did this to me?
Right.
So if it, I get it, nobody, because like you said, if they say something might happen to them, this whatever, so they're trying to hint at it because they're trying to protect themselves, they're trying to do that. So the way I look at it is like, okay, everybody has a self-interest in why they said what they said.
Right.
Right? 50 said what he said for a reason, right? And whatever his reason was, this is how I'm going to put it out there.
Right.
Diddy might have said what he said for a reason. But until you know the reason behind and then the actual of what happens, that's, again, how I could base it. Because I think it's just like, let's just say, if I was to think something about you two ladies, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was going to, and I have a whole bunch of people who listen to me, and I was going to share my opinion, because everybody's got them,
right,
of what I think of you. And then now you're going to hear about that opinion, and now you have to defend yourself on something that may have not been what you intended or what you meant. But if I can prove that what I said about you and say, hey, look, you see this right here? Where people say you got the receipts?
Yeah.
How come nobody's talking about that now, right?
Right.
That's what everybody, I got the receipts. When everybody, like, I got the receipts. Nobody's talking about receipts. Everybody's talking about opinions.
Right.
Everybody's talking about thoughts.
Right.
Everybody's talking about ideas. And that is what I feel I don't agree with, because it is manipulating the public and the masses, because we don't have all the receipts.
Right.
We don't have all the information. We just have what so-and-so said, who has an influence, and that influence could be a celebrity, that influence could be media, but there is an influence there, and we're listening to what they're saying, and we're taking it to be for our own biases, our own experiences, and for what we heard, to be like, hey, I believe, I don't know this man and never met him, that he did it. Or I'm like, I don't know this man, and until I have the receipts,
right,
I can't say anything.
Perfect.
So,
moral of the story, guys, just don't put your opinion there. Just let it just all play out, because That's a prime example. I'm gonna go a little forward because we're like so out of time, and I
Oh,
completely
I'm
took you
sorry.
away. No, I took you out of the time, but I really wanna I'm gonna
Yes.
share two things. I have two things I have to really like get on here really quickly.
Go
One,
ahead.
I'm getting blasted on Twitter,
Okay.
and okay, so everybody knows I'm a Bronx girl. Okay,
Yep.
$1 million question. What is the
Yes.
fucking orange drink, guys? This is the orange drink. Okay, of JLo. All right, so I just want to make that clear out there. And we okay. This is the orange drink. Everybody knows this. Okay. Two, this thing about all these women in the city getting punched. This is Vaseline, guys. You're from the city, you know. Okay, you ain't gonna come here and mess my face up. Okay, so I'm just letting you know I'm in and out of the city. I'm not playing that game. I will
Yeah.
Vaseline up. Okay, and if you know, you know. So,
You
and
know.
then
Yes.
just saying. And then I have one quick funny story before we wrap this up.
Yep. Go ahead.
Dennis, how did you feel
Yes.
about picking me up many, many blooms ago in the city in my hooker red high heel shoes at the bank in Queens?
How
Oh
did I
my
feel about
God.
it? Man, you're bringing it back. I felt good. You
So
know.
let me tell everybody what happened. Um, I went out to a club where Alex Sensation was playing, and an ex friend of mine lost her keys. I'm in red high heel pumps, looking like a hooker, and we had no one to pick us up. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. Dennis,
Yeah.
do you think you could
Yeah.
come to the city and pick me up? He's like, what? You went to go pick me up, and I'm coming out of a bank because that was the only warm, open spot that we could go to. And I'm
Yeah.
like, boop, bloop, boop, bloop, boop, looking like a hooker out to the club. Dennis comes to go pick me up.
Yep.
Walk of shame, but this is my ride or
It was
die.
exactly, exactly. That's why, like I said, did I? Because you said how did I feel about it? I felt good because you trusted me, you were a friend, and I know you wouldn't have reached out
Right.
unless you needed the help, and I felt good that I was considered that. Now, did I want to do it? That's a difference, okay?
Yeah.
I beg you.
Hypothetically, no, it wasn't something I would have wanted to do, but you were in a bad situation. So, like I said, just so everybody has clarity in terms of why I said it was good, because to have somebody that is a good friend of yours, and when you're in need, if they reach out to you and you're able to actually do it, it's a good feeling. So I felt good that I was able to help you. Did I want to do it? If I had to, think of something else I could be doing with my time.
At
No,
5 o'clock in the morning.
Like
yeah,
sleeping.
right.
Like,
Yeah, right. But at the end of the day, it all worked out. So, it's good. It's a good thing.
perfect. Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much. Dennis, thank you so much for being a
Yes,
part
it's
of the
nice meeting you,
show.
Dennis. Thank you.
Hopefully we could do this again.
Yes, great
Yeah.
meeting
Guys,
Thanks
you.
for having
if
me.
you have
Thanks for having me.
questions, if you want to reach out to Dennis again, want to just give out the information for the LIGL?
Yep. So you can follow us on social media. It's at LI Gaming League. You can hit us up on there. And if you want, do the easy cheat code. Just Google Esports Long Island, and we pop up there as well.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Happy
Happy
Easter.
Easter weekend, and we'll see you next
All
week.
right, bye.
Bye.